Today it's Thursday, June 6, 2024. The S63B44. It's been washed. I already washed it. I bring it here inside to inspect it. There's no oil, there's no dust, nothing whatsoever anywhere, in or out. It looks okay. It looks like that one wash and I get away with that. With the first wash, it became nice. I have already measured the bore. It's beautiful. It does have so much run out. It's okay. And as soon as I'm gonna put the pistons at the same position, it's fine. It's perfect fine. It's not like I don't have a brand new pistons that I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna put the same pistons on the same position. Now, like any other time, what I'm doing, I'm taking the oil galleries, the oil return, the threads. Well, what I'm doing exactly, I'm getting the camera, I'm putting it inside. Why? Because these kind of plugs, like this one, like this, and like this, that if it doesn't have a burnt oil, if it doesn't have a sludge, if it doesn't have a dirt inside, it's not must to open it. You know, you see here, why they have these plugs, because they're drilling the oil galleries. This to be able to create the oil galleries. If you watch now here, all of them, it looks nice and shiny. That's the upper one's the return. Down here, where are the threads here inside? Everything is nice and beautiful and then clean. All right. It's not the priority to see if it's clean or not, because 99.9% it is clean. I'm gonna show you. Gonna just turn on the side camera. 1 second. As an example, I have the camera here, and it's the side camera, and you see all the oil gallery. No, you don't see because the light. All right, and you see that's nice and clean inside. Now, let me bring this one on the last one to see the plug. There are 3 plugs here, by the way. This how does it looks like the plug from inside. I'm on the last one, looking backwards, and you see that there is nothing inside, because when I was opening the engine, I was make sure to don't feel anything inside. All right, other than the burnt oil, whatever it had before, but nothing more than this. Give me a second. I have already put the camera there, and I have a reason why. I'm going and I'm taking here at this point, and then I put it there inside. All right, this is what I'm gonna show you. It's not only on this engine, all of these engines, they're like that, and it's not only on the BMW. All right, let me go a little bit back. You see this small piece over there? Focus, stupid thing. That one. These need to come out. Here, these are the threads that comes from up and comes till this point. And you see one piece there. Now, if I go from the other side, you might be able to see even without the endoscopic camera. No, you're not gonna be able to see that. Let me put the camera from this side to show you also this side. All right, putting the camera from this side, and then you see, if it doesn't fall down the camera, just a second, you see this small piece here. Talking about down over here. Yeah, now there are some small things that it can go away with one flat screwdriver. Carefully there, you just turn it and this goes away. Then you have to find it, actually, don't stuck inside. It's completely dry, the engine, it does have an oil, so you're not gonna stick anything, but again, you have to find it. That's what I'm doing now, actually. I'm checking everything to see if it's remaining something inside. The same thing for the MA56, MA57, for the Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, all the engines, they have some small things that it's a good thing to remove it, since you are here, you know. These plugs here, it's the same plugs like what has the Daza, that I make one tool before. I already have this tool, I make it again the same tool. To be able to crimp it, it's like a rivet, but it's not a rivet. It has to be in place, and then you have to pull it somehow. I have already made this tool. and I have shown you how it's working on the previous video. Now, if I remember right, maybe I'm wrong on that. They told me that these plugs, they're selling it with a block. That means you have to purchase a block, not from BMW, for the Daza specific, and they're giving the plugs. Now, I don't know on the BMW if they're selling this separate, but there is no need to open it. That's my point. Okay? You can see with the camera, you have an access everywhere, and you see it's nice and clean. Give me a second. Fair enough so far. Somebody, I think, placed a comment about the cylinders, about the pistons, to make a balancing on something like that. It's a drop-in connect rods. They don't have crazy difference on a weight. And if you measure the OEM, you can see that the OEM is all over the place from the point of weight. These are much more precise. Alright? So, no, you don't have to. Trust me. Not on the European engines. On American engines that you have, as an example, you have one GM engine that the piston and the connecting rod, it weighs, let us say, 2.5 kilograms, as an example, all right? And then you put the aftermarket, and the aftermarket is 1.1 kilograms. Then it's a must to balance the counterweight, to balance the crankshaft, the damper pulley, and the flywheel or flex plate or whatever has behind. Not on the European engines. Usually, from what I have seen out of experience, I haven't sent any crankshaft for balancing because I changed connectors or piece connectors on a European engine. But whoever tried to balance, sometimes even a brand new crank, usually it fails. It might be, yeah, okay, it is what it is. I didn't have any problem, and it's not crazy more weight, the connecting rods. That's my point. Another one thing that just now came to my mind, yesterday I had a conversation with one friend of mine regarding, should you prime the oil system before you crank the engine? My question is very simple. To the people that are leaving their engines, their cars, parked, let us say, for 1 week, for 2 weeks, what you're doing? You're priming the oil system and then you crank the engine? When you're building an engine, you use assembly grease, you use high viscosity lubricant because you want to stay there to don't have metal to metal contact. When you're cranking the first time 3 seconds, it doesn't start because the fuel lines are empty or because you unplug the fuel pump, as an example. You crank it 3 seconds, you crank it again another 3 seconds, and the third time that you can crank it for 3 seconds, you're going to have already oil pressure. To me, it's pointless. I have the tool. I haven't used it. It's brand new, actually. I can warm up the oil. I can start pushing inside from the oil filter housing, from the adapter that has there, from the plug usually, or from the oil pressure sensor, if it depends the engine. I can start pressing inside, let us say, pass 8 liters of oil, instead of passing it through the oil filler cap, to pass it through that hole, 8 liters. And at the same time, spinning a little bit the engine. All right? It's pointless. That's my point. Now, for me, it's pointless, by the way. For me. For somebody else, yeah, okay, no worries. Fill it up from there. Again, to fill up the hydraulic lifters, you have to spin to rotate the engine. And sometimes when you have a lower RPMs, it will not gonna even fill. Keep in mind, as an example, when an engine, for a reason, goes below 500 RPMs, you start hear the lifters. Why? Because it doesn't have enough oil pressure. So, once again, and with the same principle, that means a person who didn't start his engine for 2 weeks, let us say, that means, what it means? You have to prime the system and then you have to crank the engine? Who's doing that? Nobody. I never had any problem, and that's why I'm checking also the oil filter. Because if, in a different case, if, let us say, you open the oil filter and you see some pieces inside, these are not good signs, that means something's wrong. Then you can consider, you know what, yeah, I might start priming the oil system. But I never saw any pieces on any oil filter, if it's a metallic or if it's a cartridge, if it's a carton filter or whatever. That's what I have to say for that. Now, what's the next step? The crankshaft is not being washed. It still has the oil on it from the machine shop. Wiping out the oil, getting a clearance, get one measurement here, get the measurement for the crank main bearings, do all the job again. I have the old one as a reference here. All right, I have the old bolts here. And if I'm satisfied and it's fine, the new bearings, then I move on, torquing down the crankshaft, putting the cooling jets first, torquing down the crankshaft, and continue with the installation of the piston connectors. And whatever I can put, actually. Still, my plan is to close a short block and then deal with the cylinder heads over there. Now, next step, I need to clean one chip that has here, another one from here, on these two, for a peace of mind, because that's the two only that I found. Fair enough, I hope. And how nice is that, with the BMWs, that they're using gaskets here, they're not using sealant. Lovely, you don't have to clean anything, you just put a new gasket and everybody happy. Same thing for the down here. Yeah, enough talking, let's start working. 4 minutes break for a cigarette. I have put already the crankshaft, main bearings, everything is beautiful, excellent, nothing wrong with that. And now I have put the number 1 piston inside and I have the other 7 over there, waiting. When I'm gonna go there, in 1 second for you, I'm gonna show you. Alright, here we go. Number 1, why I put the number 1? To see the clearance for the cooling jets. Has 2 cooling jets per cylinder and I didn't want to have any headache. It's excellent, no need to touch at all the cooling jets. It's beautiful, excellent, lovely. The crankshaft, it spins nice. There's nothing wrong. And I can continue with the piston number 2. Keep that. You see, yep, it's nice there. Yeah. Here are the pistons in a row, piston in, gap and gap, done. Let's move on, let's install it. Just now it came something to my mind. I just installed the number 2 piston. Yesterday, the previous video, I think, on this video or the previous video, I said that I'm going according to the connecting of bearings and the design had is a stock connecting rod. And why I'm doing that, I forget to mention that. There is a chamfering here, you see, and there is also from the other side. If one side was a flat spot and the other side had a chamfering, then it has to pointing outwards, you know, but not in this case. When it's equal from both sides, it has from this side and this side, then I'm going according to the connector bearings. Okay, just because I didn't mention this yesterday, it's obvious, but if I don't put it on the video, it will not. Move on. All piece connecting rods in place. Alright, next step, stretching the connecting rod bolts. But before I do that, I have to go outside. This is what I'm saying also to Omar. I'm saying to him that I'm gonna finish, I'm gonna put all the piece connecting rods inside, and then I'm gonna come out. Or if I have start stretching the bolts, I'm gonna finish stretching all the bolts, and then I'm gonna come out. I'm not gonna stop something in the middle. 1 second. Yeah. We have to do that, right? Let's zoom out. Okay. Looking good. Feels good. Look good. Now, when I'm gonna make it upside down, I am gonna check again the cooling jets, just in case, because I put the number 1. I just put the number 1 to don't have any crazy contact, as example. But as soon as not have a contact, we're looking good. Okay. The assembly grease, the pins for the guides, I already put it before. The oil return for the turbochargers. Here the adapter. I put also the 2 plugs back over here. I didn't show you that. Let me make it upside down. The 2 check valves in place. One is here, the other one is here. Alright, and this how does it look like from down. From what I can see there, looks like we have plenty of clearance from the cooling jet. I'm gonna check one by one, just for a peace of mind. But we are looking good. We're looking beautiful. Let me go outside now to see what they want, what they need me, and then coming back again to stretch the bolts. Hey. Alright, now I'm stretching the bolts because I don't know how many minutes video, how much the length of this video. Alright, I'm not gonna be able to continue today. I'm gonna stretch the bolts, the connection bolts, and that's it for today. Tomorrow the rest. Now I have stretched the number 5, the number 1 here. I have already stretched this one, and now I'm going for the number 6. You see that both of these bolts are loose. Okay, the left one I zero out. I'm zeroing the cage, all right, on the left one. I'm not touching this one. With this one you're supposed to mark the second one, the right one, but I'm not disturbing this ring. I'm zeroing it one, the left one, and then the right one, I'm reading the right one. That's this me what I'm following all the time, and I'm not changing it because all the time I'm doing the same thing. So left 0, the right one, how much reading? In this case reading plus 3000 an inch, and my target is 6500 an inch. So what I'm doing, 3 plus 6.5, it's giving to you 9.5 thousand of an inch. And in one case I'm expecting to see from the left bolt that I zeroed out 6.5 of an inch, all right? From the right one I'm expecting to see 9.5. This that's on the way, it's not by me, it just happened to be there. I'm not touching nothing on the tool, I'm touching the tool just only there, and then I'm keeping it here. I don't want to warm it up, like this. That's the thing, nothing new. That's what I'm following for all the ARP bolts. Doesn't matter if it's the 2000, L19, 625 plus, whatever. I'm always stretching it. On the previous garage I had the same tool, now in this garage I have again the same tool, new one. Also the previous one was new. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. The rest tomorrow. I'm sorry. Thank you, over and out. Have a good night.